morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar today. Of course, my name is Leah Renwick. I am the Queensland, New South Wales, ACT and Northern Territory Manager for the FBAA. It also now makes me a State and Territory Manager. So I've picked up our good friends back up there in Darwin. We're joined this morning by Renee Tocco, the Regional Manager for the Northern region of Prospa, and she'll be presenting to us on the vital link in SME success. Shortly, I am going to pass you over to Renee. However, just to let you know, should you wish to ask any questions during this morning's presentation, please provide these in the chat box on your control panel during the webinar. Renee and I will then go through these questions at the end of the webinar, and that'll either be verbally or by responding directly via message to you. Please note that you will get the link to the FBAA YouTube channel with the recording following this webinar, or to watch back any of the other previous videos and presentations that we've had, and you might find them beneficial and obtain more CPD hours for you for your renewals that are coming up. I'm now going to introduce Renee to you and ask her if she can join us live for this morning's presentation. Renee, good morning.
Good morning, Leah, and good morning to everyone. Thank you so much to the FBAA for this opportunity today. I'm so excited to share all of these insights with you guys. So on that note, I'll get straight into it and open up the presentation. So I'm Renee Tocco. I'm the Northern Regional Manager for Prospa. And in my previous history, I was a broker too. So it makes me extra excited to be able to share with you guys these insights and why we believe that advisors like yourselves are honestly the missing link in ensuring the success for SMEs moving forward. We've got quite a lot to unpack today, so we're going to talk about the current state of the SME market. We're specifically going to delve into some industry trends that you guys might find quite insightful. I want to show you guys the big market opportunity that's sitting in the SME space right now and why it's so pivotal for anyone looking to diversify or to maximize on their self-employed database to get into that straight away. Of course, I want to tell you guys why partner with Prospa, and then we've got some end of financial year customer and partner promotions in market at the moment that I'm saving for last because it's really exciting, and of course Q&A. So on that note, we'll talk about the current state of the market. So look, overall business morale is actually quite high. The SMEs that are trading now have navigated 2 years through the pandemic. They're more robust than ever before. They are very nimble and they're open to diversify and to change and to adapt. So that's really optimistic. Inflation has had a really big impact, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we're still experiencing a lot of supply chain issues, also impacting buying behavior a lot for the SMEs. Unemployment is at an all-time low, and that's also something to also keep in mind. We do feel overall at the moment that the Australian business economy continues to feel a bit uncertain. The rise in inflation is causing erosion of the Australian dollar, and we're typically seeing that retailers and businesses are putting their prices up by around 8% to try and circumvent that. That obviously means a big impact on their business. And this is the only way that they can at the moment navigate that impact of inflation rises. With unemployment at 4.2%, which is really, really low, the cost of staffing is actually substantially higher than ever before. It's also really difficult for businesses to find and hire good staff. So that's having an impact on their bottom line. Supply chain issues has been a massive, massive concern over the last 2 years. The biggest issue with the supply chain issues is that SMEs are having to make different purchasing decisions. So number one, they're buying in bulk in bigger purchase orders than ever before. Obviously, they need the working capital to be able to do that. The other thing is that we've seen a big change in invoicing payment timelines. So typically invoices used to sit around 30 to 60 days for payment. Now we're seeing it as low as 7 days. So clearly that has a massive impact on how SMEs need to actually manage their working capital within their own business. The current environment as an overall is actually showing that household savings is really high. And even though we may think this is a positive thing, this typically talks to people feeling uncertain. With the recent tiny but rate rise announced through the RBA, and with the upcoming election, all of these things do actually field into making the general Australian feel a little bit uncertain and wanting to wait and sit things out and see what's going to happen next. Spending levels are a bit higher than what they were the previous year. However, they're still very, very low. The biggest change we're seeing is that there's a big demand for commercial credit. It was 6% up on 2019, and again now 10% up from 2020, and just continuing on an upward trajectory. This is a really interesting graph, and what this actually talks to is about the business loan demand, particularly with respect to customers, so small business customers choosing to explore business funding from someone other than their typical major bank. So what this is really showing us is that the large non-banks and the fintechs have had a dramatic increase over the last quarter in our last calendar year, so quarter 4. Non-banks at 33%, fintechs at 31%. So businesses are exploring alternative funding solutions, and there's a lot of reasons why they're doing this, and we'll unpack that a little bit later when I tell you guys about what businesses are actually looking for when they're looking for funding solutions. So a really, really interesting graph here, and an absolutely dramatic shift from pre-pandemic numbers. We do a lot of research within the SME space. We do this because Prospa is the #1 online lender to small business in Australia. We were the first fintech to enter this market in this space, and we are still by far #1 in volume and absolutely in customer testimonials. So we continue to do a lot of research into the small business market of Australia so that we can make sure that we're tailoring our products to actually suit their needs. What this is particularly talking to is what are the major pain points that SMEs are feeling right now. So the first one's saying that 53% of SMEs are actually experiencing cash flow issues off the back of trying to grow. So as I mentioned before, business optimism is high, but the SMEs are also trying to diversify and make their businesses more secure. So they're trying to enter new markets, they're expanding geographically, they're trying to diversify their product sets, and as such, 53% are finding cash flow hurdles purely off the back of growth, which is actually positive, but trying to work out how they're going to be able to fund that. Another 53% major pain point is actually, again, off the back of the supply chain issues with respect to the fact that they're having to make bigger purchases. They're making bigger purchases because they're expecting that inflation will continue to rise. And so a lot of them are actually stockpiling goods at the moment to try and circumvent that for a period of time. And or the invoice payment terms have changed so dramatically. So that's a really major one. But the biggest one that was alarming for me is the fact that 39% of SMEs are actually leveraging personal cash reserves when they encounter any type of cash flow hurdle. So this is either credit cards, personal credit cards, or drawing equity out of their family home in order to overcome that cash flow gap. As we know as advisors, it's really important that we educate the SME market and make sure that they know that there are alternative options available out there. We always want to make sure that you're using the right type of funding for the right purpose, and using cash reserves that are from personal savings really should be avoided if there is a business product that can fill that need. I'm sure all of you have seen the various articles that's been out in all the finance magazines of late, and this is a really exciting stat that I want to talk to. We've seen a 50% increase in funding inquiries coming via brokers over the last calendar year. That's an absolutely massive, massive rise, and it continues to be on a big upward trajectory. The most exciting piece about the SME lending space is that it's very unsaturated. Unlike the mortgage space where brokers are completely dominating that market and the majority of mortgages are being written by brokers, in the business lending space, that is not the case. In fact, it's under 20%. We estimate it's around 17% of business loans actually being written by business brokers. So there's a big education piece there that we can all jump in on to just educate the market that commercial broking is available and that you can do the same for them as you can for a mortgage by finding them the most suitable business lending product for whatever they may need. There's a lot of industry trends. It's really exciting. Coming into the end of the financial year, and the end of a calendar year is always a big spike in inquiries for business lending. This can be for various reasons. A lot of businesses may need to get on top of ATO debt. They might need to get on top of invoicing and so forth before they close off the end of the financial year period. But there's a lot of other trends in market that I'll talk to as well. I'm sure many of you have sat on some of the Economist updates of late, and the amount of debt with the ATO at the moment is at an all-time high. Just about every second, if not 2 out of every 3 small businesses do actually have ATO debt and ATO payment plans in place at the moment. We do expect that there's going to be some changes in that behaviour from the ATO, and you know, they'll be starting to tighten up on that. So do bear in mind that a business loan with Prospa can actually be utilised for any worthwhile business purpose, and that also includes paying out ATO debt for the business. A lot of mortgage brokers do utilise us when they're actually writing a mortgage for their customers, and you need to clean up the ATO debt in order to do that. You may be able to do this as a supplementary product to that mortgage, so keep that in mind. Building and trade has had a dramatic increase over the last 12 months. So we do know that the government did put a lot of stimulus and incentives into this particular industry vertical during the pandemic to try and stimulate the economy. But to see a 200% increase over the last 12 months is still really, really exciting. And we're expecting this to continue to grow and be on an upward trajectory. The other exciting stat is that the retailers have bounced back. So I'm sure many of you know that Prospa is typically well known for our strength in the retail and hospitality industry verticals. This is purely off the back that these are industry verticals that are typically unfavoured by the other lenders. So we're extra pleased to know that retailers are bouncing back, and we're expecting this increase to continue at around 130%. These are just talking to the application trends. So what type of applications are we seeing and where are they coming from? So as you guys can see, and I mentioned before, building and trade is by far our #1 industry vertical. And this ranges from anywhere from a small, you know, sole trader that's a tiler, all the way up to really large construction businesses. The interesting industry vertical is actually around professional services. And within that industry segment, we're talking about lawyers, accountants, you know, really high quality customers, typically speaking, really creditworthy customers. And you might ask yourself, what would drive a customer like that to actually go to a fintech for a working capital solution? Well, we'll talk to that a bit later on, but yes, they're actually our second largest industry vertical. Retail and hospitality is still in the top 4. And to be honest, we've actually seen an increase across just about every single industry vertical over the last 12 months. Queensland has been performing well. Queensland was probably the least impacted state nationally during the pandemic, but we're expecting to see a dramatic increase across all of the states and nationally moving forward over the next 12 months. There's a lot of big market opportunities ahead right now. The biggest market opportunity really is for any broker who has any amount of self-employed business customers in your database. Let them know that you have access to working capital solutions. They are going to need these facilities, and if they know that you offer it, they'll circle back to you and introduce that opportunity to you. As we unpacked on that prior slide, only 17% of business loans are being written by brokers. I feel that that's due to customers not knowing that you have access to these facilities. You know, you can't sell a secret. So the biggest market opportunity is just getting the word out into your database that you too are able to support them with business loan inquiries. I'm just specifically talking to the seasonality that we typically see. As you can see, we tend to have a spike around the end of the calendar year, But right now we're sitting at the end of the financial year, which is a huge opportunity. We typically see a threefold increase in leads during May and June. So if you are trying to target your self-employed database for these type of working capital solutions and you're not seeing a dramatic increase in inquiries, there might be a bit more that you can do around just spreading the word. And I'll show you guys all our white label marketing resources at the end, which you may choose to leverage to do just that. This is basically talking to what SMEs want from a funding product. So we did a survey at Q4 at the end of the calendar year, 10,000 SMEs, and we wanted to unpack what is it that they need in a business funding solution and what's the most important. So 36% of them actually said the number one priority for them when they need a working capital solution is they need the decision to be really fast. And by fast, it's under 24 hours. As we all know, the general small business owner actually works around 60 hours per week. They don't really keep their eye on their cash flow management as much because a lot of them are actually working in the business. So they tend to actually realise they have a cash flow hurdle a bit last minute, hence why 36% of them actually needed to be fast. The other 30% actually said that they just wanted to be a really simple process. You know, COVID was really good in the sense that, you know, a lot of us are really comfortable with Zoom meetings now. We're capitalizing on leveraging all the tech out there to work smarter. But with that came a change in buying behavior, and businesses do not want to print application forms. They don't want to go into a bank to have to do a wet signature for a funding solution. They just want it to be simple. Now, the Prospa product, and as you guys would probably know, we do a quick 5 to 10 minute application all over the phone, and all of our documents are done digitally, hence why so many businesses are moving towards fintechs and non-major banks. 18% of them want flexibility, and the key point within flexibility is that they do not want to have to use their personal family home as securitization against a business loan. When there's a sense of uncertainty in the economy, people want to safeguard themselves, and this is part of the flexibility of what they're actually looking for. They're also looking for flexibility with repayments and loan terms that's not traditionally offered through the major banks. So all of this ties into why we're seeing professional services as the second largest industry vertical within Prospa at the moment, but also tying into that previous graph that we uncovered as to why such a large portion, so 63% of businesses are actually going to non-majors and fintechs seeking funding solutions. Key insights into Prospa and what we typically see. So our average loan size is $46,000. For the larger businesses, it's around $96,000. The top 3 uses of funds is actually for the purpose of purchasing equipment, or for growth, or for restocking, or for expansion. The really interesting thing around one of our major and the number one purpose for funds being equipment purchases is that we've had a lot of asset finance brokers utilising Prospa over the last 12 months off the back of credit matrices with the traditional EF lenders changing. So, you know, a lot of assets have become trickier and harder to finance. And they're also finding that there's deposit requirements and so on. So what a lot of asset finance brokers are doing is they're actually leveraging our loan as an alternative option. Would you prefer to buy the asset, own it right now, leverage the instant asset write-off and pay it off over a shorter term, or do you want to go for the traditional product that we typically would offer you? By simply offering that option to the customer, we're picking up a lot of opportunities, and equipment finance, even though we don't have an equipment finance product, has become our number one use of funds for our business loans. The most exciting insight I want to share with you guys is the fact that based on the volume of business loans being written in Australia, we know that 1 in 3 SMEs will be needing one of these types of loans, like what we offer at Prospa, over the next 6 to 12 months. 1 in 3. I mean, it's a ginormous opportunity. So at the moment, 80% of those inquiries are going direct to the funders because we're not spreading the word that we have access to these products. You can simply pick up these organic opportunities that's occurring within your self-employed database by just spreading the word that you offer these products and services. Even if you only have 100 self-employed customers in your database, that's 33 lines. It's a lot of lines. It's a lot of brokerage. So yeah, it's big window of opportunity for everyone right now. Why Prospa? Well, we are the #1 online lender to small business in Australia. We absolutely obsess about customers. And if you're looking for more reason than the market opportunity to enter the SME lending space, spend a couple of minutes reading some of our Trustpilot reviews and the enormous impact that these business loans have, not only on a person's business, but on their overall livelihood. It's a really rewarding space of finance to get into. And I really want to encourage you all to, check out our Trustpilot reviews because we're really proud of them, over 6,000 of them. Our NPS score is actually 80, which is exceptionally high. The majority of majors are actually in the minuses. And we really do care about our customers. We care about your customers, and we make sure they get the very best service that we can possibly deliver for them. There's a really big opportunity. There's 2.4 million small businesses in Australia. They employ over 44% of the Australian workforce. They really are the machine driving the economic backbone of Australia. It's a huge segment of business. It's unsaturated with, only 17% being written by brokers. So if you're looking for something to diversify into, I always say go into the niches that are not where there's not a lot of people competing with you, where you can actually, build a brand for yourself and really get well known in your community and within your database as an expert there. There's 5 key reasons that we're successful. Firstly, our product design. So all of the research and data that we do into the market around what are they looking for when they're looking for a lending solution, what do they need, what are the seasonality and market trends, goes into our product design. And our end of financial year offer that I'll share with you shortly is one of those things. Secondly, we've got an enormous amount of marketing resources. It's all white label marketing resources. You can upload your own logos into it. It doesn't talk to Prospa. It talks to things that would drive people to inquire about the products we offer. And it's really, really handy to just use it, upload your logo and start spreading the word. We always have regular offers. At the start of the calendar year, we actually just quickly introduced a deferral period because we knew that the businesses needed. So we're a very nimble lender and we try and tailor what we've got for what the market needs. We are award winning. We're exceptionally highly rated by the end customers. And we also have a fantastic support process for all of our partners. We value any opportunity you give us. We keep you in the loop every single step of the way. And that client continues to actually be tagged to you moving forward in our system. So any repeat business that comes off the back of it will always come back to you. I'll talk about our products, and our product set is super simple. So we've really only got 3 products. We've got a small business loan, which is our flagship product. We've got a large business loan, which is Prospa Plus, and then we have a line of credit. So I'll talk through those one by one. Firstly, the line of credit is an amazing product. We were actually the first fintech to introduce a proper revolving unsecured line of credit for small business customers. Now, a piece of data that I didn't include on any of the prior slides is around safety net facilities for small businesses. So under 10% of businesses with 5 staff and under actually have a safety net facility in place, such as a line of credit or an overdraft. All they have is a credit card or personal savings if they encounter cash flow hurdles quickly. So the line of credit is one of the easiest products to actually ask your business customers about, because 79% of them would love to have one, but most of them don't have one. And if you have ever been a commercial broker, if you are a commercial broker and you've ever tried to get a line of credit through a major bank, you would understand why very few actually have one. So the facility amount is between $2,000 and up to $150,000. It's a fantastic facility in that the customer pays interest for the period that they've drawn down. They can draw down from the facility, pay it back, and continue to use that whole facility for that duration of the term. Another really big thing about our line of credit that's really exciting is that we actually set a facility amount in place when we approve the line of credit, and that stays in place for the duration of the term. The majority of other funders actually do ongoing financial assessments, whether it be quarterly or biannually, and then they adjust the facility limit. We don't do that. So that's a really big plus, because there's nothing worse than a customer thinking they've got a safety net in place and then they don't. So fantastic product, really easy product to ask customers about and to find opportunities within. Our Prospa Small Business Loan is our flagship product. This is 80% of what we write at Prospa, and it's a small business loan ranging from $5,000 and up to $150,000. So the best part about our small business loan, and also actually our line of credit, is that we do an assessment on those facilities purely off the back of bank statements. So we will do a quick application with the customer over the phone on your behalf. We send them a link, they upload their bank statements, and we actually assess it purely off the back of turnover. The key drivers in how we actually assess a customer for what the maximum lend or rate is that we can offer them is firstly turnover, then it's industry vertical, and then it's time in trade. So our minimum requirements to be able to offer a customer a facility is 6 months trading and $6,000 per month monthly turnover. So we're even in a position to help the smaller sole trader with some type of facility should they meet all the other T's and C's. Our rate range for the small business loan is between 9.9 and 26.5 annual simple interest. And the reason the rate range is wide is because we're prepared to help basically startup that's been trading for 6 months with some type of a facility limit. However, we also want to cater our rates for those, for an example, accountant in the professional services industry vertical who needs working capital solutions. So we set the rate according to the overall profile of the customer. Our Prospa Plus product is unbelievable. We actually did a big rate drop on this product in November. I think it was a little bit lost in translation because there was a lot going on in November, but our rate range for Prospa Plus is between 7.9 and 10.5 annual simple interest. So these are for loans between 150,000 and up to 500,000. Unbelievably competitive, really, really great product. And a really cool sweet spot is actually for loans between 150 and up to 250,000, because we actually do that assessment off the back of bank statements only. So it's still part of our express path review. Really cool product. Any loan above 250,000, we can actually do a full assessment for you prior to doing the credit check, because we do need more financials and we delve in a little bit deeper. For anyone with larger customers in your database, this is an unbelievably competitive product. It's walking out the door. So if you want to explore it in more detail, please do reach out to us on this one and any of our products. All of our products are incredible. The minimum criteria for Prospa Plus, just to touch on that, is actually 3 years trading. The director does need to be asset backed, and the minimum turnover is 1 million. All right, we've got an enormous amount of marketing resources. I mentioned our white label marketing resources before. So if you're not currently registered as a Prospa partner, please reach out to us and we'll get you registered. As part of being a Prospa partner, you do have access to the Prospa portal, and that's your own unique login. Now, when you log into the portal, that's where you can actually load leads or any opportunities that you have. To load a lead with us, we actually only need very basic information, the director's name, mobile number, email address, and business name. If you know what the loan amount is that they're seeking and the loan purpose, or the average monthly turnover, that's useful to add in the comments. But just the back of us receiving the contact details, we'll actually contact the customer on your behalf and do the full assessment and keep you in the loop. So you don't have to collect the bank statements, you don't have to do anything aside from just identifying the opportunity. So you can load opportunities through the Prospa portal, or you can reach out to your BDM and we can do the scenario with you over the phone and load it on your behalf. But in the Prospa portal, if you look, next time you log in there, look at the top, there's a resources and a marketing tab. If you click into the marketing tab, there is a wealth of white label marketing resources in there. There's blogs, there's newsletters, there's brochures, all sorts of stuff. So all of the content, as I mentioned before, has not been written to talk about Prospa. It's been written to talk about key drivers that could make someone inquire about our products. And it's ready for you to just upload your logo and insert your contact details into any of that promotional material. There's also a really good letter in there that you could use to try and drum up referral partners such as accountants or conveyancing solicitors. It's really good, but yeah, spend some time checking out all of the marketing resources so that you can start spreading the word on any medium that you use within your business. We have regular offers, and our standard commission is really good, especially considering you just need to find the lead. It's a genuine spot and refer model, and we'll do all the legwork on your behalf. But the other thing I wanted to mention here is that as you start building, your opportunities with Prospa, there's actually a really exciting ongoing revenue stream, because we really value our relationship with all of our partners. And when you've brought a customer to us and we've settled a deal, that customer is tagged to you. Now, typically we see 75% of customers actually coming for more capital within the first 12 months. Of getting their first loan or line of credit with Prospa. And on average, a Prospa customer gets up to 3 loans over a 5-year period. You'll continue to be paid on all repeat business. So it's a really cool ongoing revenue stream, sort of like a trail, a bit different, but yeah, there's a lot to gain if you start building momentum in this space. We've got a really big support network. So I'm part of the national sales team, and we actually don't have everyone on this slide, unfortunately. I didn't have a chance to update it, but any Prospa partner is aligned to a BDM within Prospa. So if you're not sure who your BDM is, reach out and I'll introduce you to that person. But we really do take a one-team approach within national sales. A lot of the time we're out at events and so forth. So you can literally reach out to anyone within the national sales team and we'll all be ready and willing to help and support you, check a scenario or with whatever you need. But behind us are 270 employees. The majority of them are based in Sydney, and we've got a really big operational team. One of the really good things that we do, and I think that really ties into why we're ranked so high with our Net Promoter Score, is that we actually appoint an account manager to the customer who will take care of them, one single person, one point of contact for the life of their loan. It really does give a customer a really good experience. Aside from that, all of the people in our Sydney office are absolutely guns on the phone. I consider myself good on the phone, but I can assure you I trusted my leads with them, and you guys can trust that if there's an opportunity, with any opportunity you put through to us, they'll uncover it and they'll work it all the way from lead to settlement on your behalf and keep you in the loop every step of the way. As I mentioned before, our partner portal is a really clever piece of software. If you don't have access to the portal at the moment, again, just reach out. If you're not registered at the moment, reach out, we'll get you set up. It's a really cool piece of software. It does actually give you real-time updates on the progress of any lead that you've put in with us. It's got all of those marketing resources in there as well. But on top of that, whenever you submit a lead with us, your BDM in Prospa will actually send an introduction email to you and the account manager that's going to do the assessment and the person that's going to contact your customer, and make sure that you're actually kept in the loop every step of the way. All right, so this is an exciting part, our end of financial year offers. As I mentioned before, there's a threefold inquiry rank between May and June. So it's halfway through May at the moment. Make sure you capitalize on it, use our white label marketing content and spread the word into any self-employed customers that you might have. The first one is our client offer. So this is actually for your small business clients. We have a 8-week deferral option for them that we can offer at the commencement of the loan. So what that means is they can actually get the cash they need right now, but the repayments won't kick in for an 8-week period. Customers absolutely love this. We automatically offer this to any customer that comes through while the promotion is in market, and we typically see between 80 and 90% actually take it up. So for them to have that breathing space at the moment can mean a lot. So this is a great one to market into your SME database. We have a fantastic partner commission boost in place at the moment. So normally our commission on the small business loan is 4%. So on an average loan size being $50,000, that would be $4,000 just off the back of you sending us the name and number and us doing the legwork for you. So whether you do all the legwork or we do the legwork on your behalf, the commissions are always the same in case anyone's wondering. But at the moment, we've got a 2% boost. So it's going from 4% to 6% in the small business loan. So on the average loan size of 50K, that would be $3,000 brokerage. For Prospa Plus, it's gone from 4% to 5%. So if you're lucky enough to pick up a 500K large business loan opportunity, that's $25,000 in brokerage. And our line of credit goes from 3% to 5%. Another really good thing to mention on the line of credit about how we pay brokerage on it, we don't pay it in drips and drabs every time they draw down. That can be quite punishing if you've set up a facility for 100,000 and they draw down $5,000 and you're waiting for them to draw down again. What we actually do with the line of credit is as soon as they draw down the first time, we pay you brokerage on the full facility limit. So this end of financial year partner commission boost for all new business is in place until the 30th of June, which is for anything that settles by the 30th of June, and it's the same for the client promotion as well. We do also have partner loan offer. So we actually write a lot of loans for our partners. If there's any brokers out there who might need a bit of working capital to do some marketing or whatever you may need it for within your business, we do put favourable rates out for our partners. We love writing partner loans because we see that as soon as a partner actually has the Prospa experience firsthand, we always see them bringing a lot more opportunities our way afterwards. It's a nice way to see what your customers will experience. So if you have any loan inquiry requirements at the moment, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So we're almost at the end of the prezo now. I'll just go through 3 key things. You know, how do you identify a Prospa opportunity or a Prospa customer? So as I mentioned before, our minimum requirement is 6 months trading and $6,000 per month monthly turnover. So that's the minimum requirement. If a business has actually bought an established existing business, the minimum time trading is actually only 3 months. So that's the minimum requirement. That's all you really need to know. Don't be concerned about having to understand the rates or, you know, learn a new credit matrix. We're there to do that for you. So if you find an opportunity, you can simply say to your business customer, hey, great, I'm going to get my loan specialist from Prospa to give you a call. They'll do a quick discovery session with you over the phone, and off the back of that, they can give you all of the information that you're asking for. That's the best way to do it. Hand it over and let our team do the legwork for you. Now, the other thing is the end of the financial year, as I mentioned, huge peak period. You can reach out to your business customers and find out if anyone has any challenges or opportunities coming into the end of the financial year where they may need some working capital support. That's one thing. The second thing is that you can actually just ask them whether they have a safety net facility in place right now, so that if they should need working capital fast, they've got a facility in place to draw down from. Those would be the three key things that I would recommend for you to take away from this. One, market into your base that you offer it. Two, if anyone comes back to you with an inquiry, just collect the minimum information we need and let them know that one of your loan specialists from Prospa will call them to discuss everything further. And then three, make sure you reach out into your base at the moment to see if anyone has any challenges or opportunities that they're aware of. And if they do, to reach out to you so that you can support them with that. So on that note, it brings me to a close. I don't know how I went for time. Oh, not too bad. We've actually got quite a bit of time left, but hopefully there's a few questions there and I can go through all of that with you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to say as a closing note that the window of opportunity in the unsecured business lending space is absolutely massive. And for any broker looking to diversify, this is the area to diversify into. There's not a lot of brokers focused in this space, and there are organic opportunities happening within your self-employed database. If you want to have a one-on-one discovery session or strategic session with your BDM or with one of the managers, we'd love to do that to explore how it might fit into your business specifically. But off the back of that, yeah, I just hope to see you all capitalizing on this period. So thank you. Back over to you, Leah.
Excellent, Renee. And I think that was such a fantastic presentation that so many people are going to walk away from today. Obviously better educated and ready to write a lot more business through Prospa. We've got a couple of questions that I will flick over to you this morning. Michael Royals just put something to your attention though. Apparently on the loan market portal, they've got Carl Chanel Coombs and Paul Evans listed as their BDMs. Is that still current for loan market?
Well, I'll get that updated because the BDMs are actually assigned to the partner depending on the state that they're in. So those are some of the BDMs. However, depending on where that partner is located, they most likely could be tagged to someone different. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to, thank you for flagging that. I'll reach out to Loan Market and make sure that they get that updated so that we've got everyone's contact details on there. But if anyone's not sure who their BDM is, please just shoot through an email and I'll let you know.
And that's fantastic. Miss Rahman would like to know what the limit for ATO debt is.
So we assess it on a case-to-case basis. So that's actually a really good question that you've raised because I didn't touch on this before. We actually don't have a minimum credit score. That means we can't assess that application. And we don't have a maximum amount of defaults. That means we can't assess the application. Those things will impact on the overall credit worthiness, but just wanted to touch on that quickly. With respect to ATO debt, I'm not sure if he's asking about paying out ATO debt with the business loan or if he's asking if they've got existing ATO debt and they want to get access to a business loan. So I'll just answer both. Our business loans are assessed, as I mentioned, off the back of predominantly turnover, industry vertical, and length of trade. So the customer will be approved for a loan amount of whatever they can do based on those factors, and they can use that loan for any worthwhile business purpose. So whether that will cover the amount of outstanding ATO debt they have or not, it depends on their turnover and the other factors, but our loans can be utilised for any worthwhile business purpose. With ATO debt and ATO payment plans, again, that doesn't mean no, we can't assess them. If they've got ATO debt and ATO payment plans, we actually just have a look at serviceability with respect to that industry vertical, typical expenses and profitability, and we'll make an assessment on it. They don't have to pay out their ATO debt to get a business loan from us. We'll just bring it into the equation when we do the review.
Fantastic. And Barry Berajar would like to know, is annual simple interest the same as APR? And if not, what does a 20% simple rate work out to be for an APR?
Well, I might send a nice detailed description about that. No, it's not the same. Annual simple interest is an annual simple interest rate that's applied on the actual loan for, you know, per annual, so per year. It is different to APR, but I'm more than happy to share the in-depth explanation and show you what that looks like in comparison, if you'd like. So, Leah, if you can send me that person's details, I'll flick that through afterwards.
We will. We'll definitely get Mariah onto that one for you. Ron Moore would like to know if you do commission clawback at all.
We don't. This is another really fantastic thing of the tick and refer model. So we do the assessment, we assess the risk, we do the application. So there's no clawback at all for a broker in our loans. We choose to take on that customer and that credit risk, and even if something should happen, it's got no bearing on the broker. So that's really positive.
That's excellent. And look, we know that commission clawback is probably one of the hottest topics in our industry at the moment.
So that's why it's so fantastic. Like, if normally, and I know when I was a broker, I tried to diversify into so many different areas, and you've got to learn all these new products and credit matrices. All you physically need to do to partner with Prospa and diversify into this space is learn how to find a lead, because learn how to find the lead and hand it over to us. Our guys are really good on the phone, and let us do all of that for you. There's no clawback, there's no filling in application forms, nothing. You know, typically our team will be able to close the deal, but if for any reason we hit any roadblocks and we can't get it closed, you've been kept in the loop every step of the way, and our agent may then come back to you and say, hey, do you reckon you can help us get this one closed? This is the roadblock. And that's the only time we'll get involved, you involved, and ask you to help us close it. But most of the time, you know, we can do it ourselves.
And that is, again, something that is very unique in this space, and also helps a lot of brokers with income and managing that side of things as well.
Yeah.
I've got a curious question for you from Deanne Evans, who'd like to know if Prospa takes a second mortgage on an owner-occupied property to secure the debt.
No, we don't. We don't use any. So our loans are unsecured. We do take director's guarantee. For Prospa Plus, so loans above 150,000, we do take a PPSR on the business, but we actually don't use any assets or any property or anything as securitization against our loans at all.
Which is another fantastic thing for small businesses that are out there.
Huge.
Roman Katic would like to know, sorry, Roman, it is Katic, I should know that by now. If turnover is $6,000 per month, then what facilities would they be able to offer, and what would be the maximum lend possible? And I'm pretty sure, Renee, you've got a cheat sheet for something like that up your sleeve somewhere.
I do. Okay, so look, it all does depend, but to give you a very general rule of thumb, if the turnover is 6,000 per month, and did you say they've only been trading for six months?
He hasn't mentioned the trade on it, just says if the turnover is 6,000 per month, what facilities can they offer, and what is the maximum lend possible?
Yeah, so our business loan and our line of credit is assessed slightly different. With the type of line of credit facility, we if there's lumpy income, it can impact it, but that don't worry about that. I'm just mentioning it because sometimes if a customer's got lumpy income, we can give them a loan but not a line of credit. But most of the time we can give them the facility that they're looking for. So typically speaking, you'd be looking at 80% to 200% of the average monthly turnover. So if the turnover is $6,000, you might be looking at, 5 to 12. It just depends on how long they've been trading, what the industry vertical is. At times we can go higher. At times it's lower for, default creditworthiness, blah, blah, blah. But that's just a very general rule of thumb. Typically it's around 1 to 2 months, average monthly turnover. So not profit, turnover. And again, this might be something that your customers do ask you when you start trying to find these leads. A customer might come to you and say, oh, I'm looking to get 30 grand. And you might ask, what's your average monthly turnover? And they'd say 12, and you'd think, oh, that might not fit. what you would say in that respect is don't get into that conversation too deeply. Just say, look, we might be able to get there. If we can get you any loan amount at the moment, would that be helpful? Or just again, let them know that your loan specialist from Prospa will cover all that with them over the phone and give them an indication before we actually submit it.
Fantastic. And there's a question that has come up, and I actually appreciate this one because it's something I've never thought about. Chantel Winstanley, sorry, I apologise for that one, says, I just want to ask if a client has a current loan with Prospa through a previous brokerage, but then they come to her after that has obviously settled, how is it handled for future referral comms?
So that's a very good in-depth question. So if a customer is introduced by a broker for the first time, we view that as a new introduction. So from a commission perspective, that's the first time that broker has introduced that customer to us. So we pay them as if it's new. In our back of house, we see it as existing, but if it's new to that broker, we see it as new. And if the customer's chosen to come through a different new broker, then we always respect what the customer wants to do, who the customer wants to work with. And so, yeah, I hope that answers that question. That's why I'm always really adamant about encouraging brokers to send out a couple of emails and LinkedIn posts just to constantly remind your self-employed that you offer this. You will immediately start picking up organic opportunities. But then on top of that, it's just like anything else. Just make sure you stay front of mind so that when that customer needs a loan again, they come back through to you. What we more typically see, Leah, is not that it comes through another broker. It's more typically we actually see the customer coming direct back to Prospa, not back through the original broker. And just so you guys know, when that does happen, you still get paid repeat on it. We still tag you in on all the correspondence. So that's what we mostly see, is that they come directly to us, not via the originally introduced broker, but we still pay you on it and we still keep you across it.
Fantastic. And I think that pretty much wraps us up for today, Renee. There's obviously a lot of chatter going on online at the moment from everyone to say it was a fantastic presentation. So many of today's audience have taken so much away from them, and I'm sure by this afternoon we're going to see a flood on LinkedIn of everybody advertising out there that they're able to do self-employed loans through Prospa. So we do thank you on Prospa for your time today, and especially the greater Prospa team that is on the call as well, and appreciate the time that you've taken out to obviously put this presentation together for our members. As we said, guys, if anybody has got any questions, and Deanne, I'm just going to answer this. Do you contact me to become accredited with Prospa? The answer to that would be no. You need to contact Renee, but we will send Renee's details out and your local BDMs for that one as well. While I would love to do Prospa's accreditations for them, my hands are somewhat slightly tied up at the moment with my work here at the FBAA. So if you do need anything though, guys, and you've got any questions, feel free to email me directly. I'm happy to direct you and guide you in the right direction from that. We will be sending out Renee's contact details at the end of today's session for you. Also, just to give you a quick rundown on things, we will be sending a follow-up for your CPD hours. Keep in mind that you will get today's video available to you on the FBAA's YouTube channel. We always love sharing things on this, so please do look it up. And today's webinar, you also gained an hour for joining us. So thank you, especially our brokers, for taking that time out of your businesses today to learn a little bit more about Prospa and what services they can help offer you, and most importantly, offer your clients. Again, my name is Leah Renwick. If you need anything at all, please send me an email up here at the FBAA's National Office, and I look forward to speaking to everybody next time. Bye for now.